Um, Welcome to Joash, especially, and thank you so much for agreeing to share your story with all of us, basically. And I thought maybe the best way to start is for you to just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you did post-school, and how you came to be where you are today.
Right. Thank you very much. It's also a pleasure and an honor to be here. I'm very excited, and I'm happy that you're hosting me today. My name is Joash, just like you've heard. I'm married. We've been blessed with 2 children, a son and a daughter. After high school, I went to college and I studied sociology. So I am mostly a social scientist. I was born and bred in Kisumu. Kisumu is the western part of Kenya. Over time, my mom rears chicken, and so I will see her struggles in getting feed for her chicken. And so I began to research on how to make feed cheaper and more affordable for poultry farmers. And that's when I stumbled on rearing Black Soldier Fly.
Right. And so tell us about raising the Black Soldier Fly, and what is it? How do you produce the feed? Okay,
so Black Soldier Fly is a cousin of the housefly. The difference is they are very ferocious feeders. They feed on waste, and so they grow very fast, and they don't carry diseases. So what I do is I collect market waste. You can rear them on any waste, but I prefer market waste because they look neater. So I collect market waste from the nearest market, and then I feed them on the larvae. And then when they are 15 days old, they are harvested to be fed to protein. So one thing about the Black Soldier Fly is that they can be fed directly to poultry, pig, and fish, or they can be processed. So, so my current customers are mainly poultry, pig, and fish farmers.
Right. And you were saying to me at one point that most of the feed came from Uganda. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
And what's the situation now?
The situation has grown worse. Kenya mostly imports fish meal. Now, Black Soldier Fly is an alternative source of protein to fish meal. So mostly what is used in Kenya is fish meal, and Kenya imports its fish meal from Uganda and Tanzania. Now, the stock has been dwindling for fish meal. Now, the other alternative has been sunflower cake, which Kenya again imports from Zambia. Now, unfortunately, about a week or so back, Zambia is now not exporting sunflower cake to Kenya. So the demand for feed is high, but the supply is quite low.
Right, okay. And so are people coming to you because you're the only supplier, or is it a combination of that and the quality and contact? Why do they come to you specifically?
So people buy Black Soldier Fly for 2 main reasons. Number one, its nutritional value is quite high. It contains about 40% protein and 30% fat. And then the second reason is it's quite affordable compared to the alternative, which is fish meal. And then the third reason why they'll come is because when you buy Black Soldier Fly from me especially, you are sure you're getting clean protein. What happens with fish meal, it's supplied sometimes and it's mixed with impurities, it's mixed with sand, so that it can tip the scale. But when you pick Black Soldier Fly, you're sure this is 100% protein.
Right. And how do you distribute your product?
So 2 main things. Number one, people will come to buy from my farm. I have customers coming to buy from my farm. And then secondly, there are customers that are little out of town, so I'll take to them. Like I have customers in the fish industry who rear fish, and they are a few kilometers away from town, so I take to them.
Right, okay. So in a way, your distribution costs are kept quite low because mostly people come to you, but you
Absolutely.
still supply some people. Okay. And how has CBA been helping you to develop the business?
So CBA has helped a lot, and I'm grateful for the support. Number one, CBA came in as investors, and so they offered the much needed capital to kickstart the business. And then the second, very most important thing is the training. The kind of training that CBA gives is very thorough, and it helps you, it ensures that you remain afloat and remain on top of things in terms of the business and the running of the business.
Right. And so obviously you've been sort of working now for 2 years. As an entrepreneur, you are bound to be twitching to find out what's next. What's the next big idea? What is the next big idea? I mean, how are you going to grow, and what are you going to grow into?
Over the past couple of weeks, I've been thinking seriously about personally engaging into poultry farming, especially for egg production, because number one, my leverage is feeds. For most poultry farmers, feeds alone take up to more than 75% of their cost, and so my leverage is feeds. And then the other thing, the reason why I wish to get into eggs production is eggs is the simplest source of protein for households, especially around here. It's cheaper to buy an egg or two as a source of protein than to buy meat. And so that's the direction that I'm thinking that I'll move into.
Right. And with regards to the future, I mean, are you looking to buy out CBA and sort of become a Kenyan millionaire? I mean, what are your financial objectives really, and your business objectives for the future?
If you have interacted with CBA the way I have done, it's a relationship that you'll want to maintain, because mainly it's there's mentorship. There's mentorship that you'll not wish to lose. There's a mentor that will always keep you on toes. There's a mentor that you will share with the progress. And so it's not just a business kind of relationship. It has evolved into more than just a business kind of a relationship. And so my desire will be to continue working with CBA.
Right. And what about business expansion? So you're talking about chickens and so on, but given that everybody seems to be wanting your feed, what's your capacity and what comes next?
Currently the capacity that I produce is about 200 kilograms of larvae per month, and the capacity that I have can triple that. So the land that I have and the resources that I have, I can easily triple this this production. And so just checking on how marketing is going, this can easily be multiplied.
Right, right. And I suppose really the final question from me is, given where you are now and what you know now, or now know, is there anything you would do differently starting up than you did? Obviously, COVID was a big impact, but other than that?
Yes. If I am to begin over again, one thing I'll do differently is in regards to the structure that I built to rear the larvae. Initially, the structure that I built, I used polythene to cover the whole structure. Eventually, it was too hot for the larvae, so I had to replace the polythene with iron sheets to maintain the temperatures. And so that is one thing I will definitely do differently if I had to begin all over again.
Right. And is there at any point, do you see yourself employing other people to help you?
Absolutely, absolutely. As the business grows, I'll need more people to support in the production unit, and then I also need people to support in the transportation unit, because if I have more customers outside town, I'll need to have people support in the transportation.
Perfect.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with everyone, Josh, that I may have missed?
Maybe one other thing that is important, a few challenges that I experienced when we began, apart from the temperature and apart from COVID, we had a challenge of squirrels. Squirrels will invade our production unit and feast on the larvae. I had to get a few dogs to manage the squirrels. And then when beginning, there are a few licenses that you need to take from the government. And the most important one is waste transportation license, because we're picking waste from a marketplace and bringing it over to my place. So there's need to get a waste transportation license.
Yeah. And is that something that you have to have a relationship with the inspector for, or is it something that's sort of quite straightforward?
It is straightforward. It is straightforward. You will just go in and apply for it. Because the other license that you'll need is for the environmental management, which you also just need to walk in and apply, and then in the course of time you get your approvals.
Right. Okay. So it's quite straightforward and quite matter of fact. It doesn't require, as we used to say in Greece, envelopes to officials, let's say.
Yes, that is very common. That is very common in Kenya. But one thing I've learned to do is to be patient and be persistent. I'm a Christian. I'm born again, so I'm never going to bribe somebody to get things done. So usually persistence and patience. So I'll keep knocking on your office, like for the waste, the environmental management. I had to go over and over before the approvals.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Joash. I hope everybody that was sufficient information for you. I'll hand back to Roland. Thanks, Josh.
Okay, very good. That was very, very interesting, but I'm sure, I know I have a few questions, and I'm sure some of the other people have questions as well. So let's take a few questions for Joash.
Hey, Joash, Bernard here. Great presentation. Thank you. Sorry if I missed it. How many people do you now employ in your business?
Currently, there's one full-time, which is myself. And then I have other people that I engage on a need basis, like during harvesting, during packaging, and sometimes during transportation. I engage them on need basis.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a question, Joash. You mentioned you're producing 200 kilograms and you have the facility to triple that. But there's also the sunflower cakes are not coming from Zambia, and there's a shortage, and your product is in demand. So what's the holdup? Why are we not tripling it this month?
Okay, I'm actually in the process of increasing production from 200 a month to 300 kilograms this month, because I'm having so many people, especially the agro vets. You see, Initially, the market was mostly farmers who will come to pick for their poultry. But now I'm having agrovets who want to stock this for their customers as well. So I've had a few agrovets coming in to buy our product. So I'm sure in the next couple of months, I will have doubled or at least tripled.
Okay, and then after you triple, is it possible then for you to expand your facility and triple again?
That would mean that we have to increase the space or move to a larger space, because again, eventually the long-term idea will be me getting into feeds manufacturing myself, even as I manufacture for my own poultry. So that will mean a larger space. And again, growth usually growth is a process. To me, growth is a process, yes. Sure.
And you have a plan? Is this part of your original business plan, or do you have a revised plan to include that kind of growth?
This will be a revised plan to get into feeds manufacturing, and poultry farming is actually a revised plan.
Okay, sort of an integrated operation, make your own feed and then transform the protein to something people will eat instead of the larvae. Yes. Oh, that's really cool. That's really good. Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, Josh, I may not fully understand the process of growing those larvae, but do you have to buy some materials, or is it just growing by itself and just multiplying? How does that work? I mean, I have literally no idea how you grow these things. But maybe you can explain a little bit to me.
All right. So for the before you begin, you need to build a structure, and then crates where I'll rear the flies, and then a net. So crates where I'll rear the larvae, and then a net where the larvae that I want to reproduce will turn into flies. So when I began, I trapped wild black soldier flies. I set traps along the fence, and then occasionally I'll come check for the larvae. So I know the difference between a black soldier fly larvae and a housefly larvae. So I picked the black soldier fly larvae and put them into my breeding house, and so fed them. When they reached maturity, allow them to turn into flies, and then they lay eggs, and I harvest the eggs, and then the process will continue.
It's a self-repeating exercise.
Yes, it's a self-repeating, exactly. So what happens at harvesting, when now I want to harvest, I don't harvest everything. I leave a percentage to reproduce.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would lose everything. All right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
And that cycle, George, tell us how long that cycle is.
Yes. The cycle from egg to a mature larvae for harvesting is around 15 days, and then so if you don't want to harvest it, if you want it to turn into flies so that it reproduces, you'll give it another 3 to 5 days before it metamorphoses to a fly, and then the fly only survives for about 4 to 5 days. So in that 4 to 5 days, it does nothing but mating and laying eggs. It doesn't eat when it's a fly. It only eats when it's at the larva stage.
Now, yes. One more question. You said that you had to feed them. With what do you feed them?
I feed them with waste. What I use mostly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I use market waste mostly, but the larvae feeds on any waste. Yeah. Restaurant waste, municipal waste, anything.
Gerard, at one point, Joash had a deal with the local avocado producer,
Yes.
didn't you, Joash? And I was
Yes.
saying, wow, this feed is the most nutritious in the whole country. Because she just wanted the stones and Joash was taking the flesh. It was amazing.
Do you have to,
Joash, can you
buy,
tell us
buy the waste, or do you get it for free?
I get it for free. I get it for free. I wake up in the morning, like today, go pick the waste and then come feed. So what I spend on is the transportation.
Yeah.
The waste is for free.
Joash, can you tell us something about your customers? How many customers do you have? And can you give us an idea of what is 200 kilos of larva? How many animals do you feed with it? Is it the only feed, or is it next to other feeds to animals?
Okay, so customers, mostly my customers are farmers who rear poultry and fish farmers. These are people who the poultry farmers usually just come to the farm to buy off. Their number, they are varied. So the one that will come this week may not come next week, but usually I'm able to sell about 100, almost 100 kgs, say 50 to 70 kgs per week. And then the fish farmers buy in bulk, maybe 50 kgs. So I take to them. The other question you asked was, I didn't get.
Yeah, suppose you have your own poultry farm. Let's say, how many chicken can you feed on 200 kilos?
200 kilos can be, because that is, if I have 100 birds, 200 kilos will serve them for 2 weeks. Because the other thing is, this is protein. This is protein, and you'll have to supplement it. If you want starch, you'll need to get something else for the starch. But protein usually is the most expensive component of feeds.
Okay, very
Yeah, because you
interesting
were
and very good. Maybe one last question from anybody?
How much does 1 kilo cost?
1 kilo goes for 100 Kenya shillings. That is the minimum.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, around about $1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what sets the price? Can you not raise it if there's a shortage and the supply is strong?
Hello, what did you please ask again?
What sets the price? Why is it 100 shillings and not 200 shillings?
Oh, okay. So I checked the cost of production. That is one, and then secondly, against my competitor, which is fish meal. Fish meal goes for about 180 shillings or 150 shillings per kilo.
Okay. Well, very interesting, Joash, and we wish you success and pray God's blessing over you and your family and your business. And thanks for joining us. And you're welcome to stay on the rest of the meeting, of course. And we look forward to you reaching 600 kilos and hiring additional staff. One of our big goals at CBA, of course, is not to just set you up in business so that you can be successful for your family, but you can also enable other people to come alongside you and make success for their family. So we hope and pray that that'll be the case when we check in with you next year or so. Thank you very much.